Good morning, everybody. Patty Ann here. Hang on just a second. The first thing I wanted to do was I wanted to thank all of my Patreons, new Patreons over there, my patrons. You guys have no idea. You're helping me to be by your support, you're allowing me to create more content for you. So one of the things I've done today is I've made out this 3-page tutorial on how to do what we're going to do with today's video. So today's video involves using Inkscape. So that's why it's just a little something extra. You'll need to download the free program Inkscape.org and get started from there. And don't let it scare you, because it is kind of scary looking. But what I'm going to show you how to do today is how to make this outline around any image that you can find. So if you're wanting to make cake toppers, or you're wanting to make decorations for walls, this is for print then cut, or you're wanting to make centerpieces. That's what this test was for originally, a centerpiece. And I had it really big, and you can see that I have to slice it when it's really big, but I still think it looks okay. And especially if you add bling to it, like you can see the bling I've added to this one. Hopefully you can see this sparkly stuff. I like adding extra bling to it. Just makes it all that much more fun. This one is only single-sided, as is this one, but I could easily have made it double-sided and had a stick in between the two of them so that it would stand up on a table, and from any angle you'd be able to see it. So let's get started by coming up here to Cricut Design Space. Let's see, okay. This is the one that I've just been working on, Snow White. And what I wanted you to see on this one before I delete it is notice the outline around her and how large it is. Now the instructions that I'm going to give you will tell you to make it this large, although I'll show you how you can make it smaller in case you just want a white outline this size. Now I do need you to know that you can make the outline or the offset any color you want, and this is an easy process. What I'm going to do while I go through this with you is just to use this printout that I have and just go step by step with you through Inkscape. So again, let's go up here. Let me bring up Inkscape. Okay, here's Inkscape, and like I said, it could look scary to you. Not to worry. The first thing that you need to do is you're going to go to Google and find an image. So I'm going to try to find a different image. So I'm going to go to Google. Hey, maybe I'll do Disney Snow White, one of the dwarfs. And I tell you on this sheet that what you need to do is come over here to Tools, and then you want to come up to the type of video. So Tools and the type of, not video, the type of image. And in this case, if I wanted it to be not really realistic, I would do clip art. But if I wanted it to be very realistic looking, I could just use any type. I'm going to do clip art today. All right. Then the next thing I tell you to do is to come over here to Tools again. Well, actually not. Well, you could come to Tools again, and over here, I've already chosen it, but generally it says Size over here. Size, you see that? And I click on that, and I want it, if I'm going to do a print then cut, I want it to be a nice large image. And if it's a realistic one, I really like it to be large. I'll just leave it at that one. And again, these instructions are on your printout. So if you're taking notes now, fine, you can pause and take notes. Or you can just join us over at Patreon and you can get it for free. So let's see, maybe I'll do this guy. Oh, but I forgot. There's another part of the equation I forgot to mention to you. When you type in what you're looking for at Google, I also want you to call it a .png file. And that's important. It's easy to change it in Inkscape, but that's another lesson. So for this one, if you look for your image and call it any image like snowwhite.png, Aladdin.png, whatever, Popeye.png, and then do a search for that. And still, again, you'll have it be in clip art or whatever and larger than 2 megapixels. So let's see, who shall I choose? I should do Sleepy because mostly everyone is sleepy right now because of the time change, right? Oh, I just thought of something I would like to do. I would like to do those little fairies from Sleeping Beauty. I love those little things. Okay, anyway, I'll just do this guy, Sleepy. So there he is, and I'm just going to simply right-click on him and say Save Image As. And again, as long as we're doing this just for our personal use, we are okay to use these images. So I'm just going to leave it named Sleepy Dwarf. And I probably don't need all that other text there. Sleepy Dwarf. Back. Get rid of some of that, just Sleepy Dwarf. And I'm going to put it in my Downloads folder. So I'll say Save. All right. Now I'm on number 5 on the chart or on the handout here. And it says to open Inkscape. And then you go to File, Import. And you're going to find your image. Now mine again is in my Downloads folder, so that's where I already am. So I'm just going to look for Sleepy. And I have mine set to be in alphabetical order. There he is, Sleepy. Open. And I'll leave this box just as it is. And click on OK. Whee, he's big. Number 8, click the Fill Bounded bucket. And actually what I'm going to do is hit the minus key on my keyboard to zoom out so we can see. And now I'm going to hit the Fill the Bounded Areas bucket. That's this one right down here, the paint bucket. Click on that. Now what should show up is this layer of a menu right here. If by any chance yours does not show up, just come up here to View and Show Hide, and then Tool Controls bar. You see how it's missing now? So if yours looks like this, and I tell you to leave the threshold button alone, you're like, where is it? It's not on mine. All you have to do is come up here to View, Show Hide, Tool Controls bar. There it is. Okay, so number 9 says to leave all of these buttons alone as they are right now. And I explain why you might want to change the threshold one at some point. And the one that's the grow shrink by, that determines how wide your offset is. Remember in the beginning when I showed you the 2 Snow Whites? Let's see if I can get back there easily. Okay, these 2 Snow Whites, this one has an offset of 30, whereas this one I changed to 15. So let's look back at Inkscape. Right now the grow shrink by is 30 here, so it's going to be the wider of the offsets, but that's fine with me. So it says to leave all these buttons alone, and then it says come down here and click on any image other than black or white. I usually pick this color, and then click on your image. So notice what happens. The whole image should be changed into your chosen color. Now, one time when I did Snow White, there was like a round circle here that didn't get filled in. So what I did was I came to the undo button and I changed the threshold to maybe 45 or something, and I tried that. And if that didn't work, I did the undo button and tried a higher one. But 17 worked okay for this one, and so I'm going to leave it at that. Click on him again, and there it is. The next part of the directions say to select this same tool again that we had used previously. So we can click on our figure to select it, and then we're going to go to Objects, lower to bottom. All right. And now before I leave this screen or leave this area or click on anything else, I can change the color of that offset because I really don't want it to be that pink. So did you notice I just came down here, here's pink. I can change it to any color I want to, but I really just want it to be white. And now on number 13, it says to go ahead and click the same tool again and go to Edit and select all. So notice it puts two boxes around him. One box is him and one box is that offset. And then we go to Object and Group. Okay, now make sure your object is selected, which it is, and then go to the right side of your screen. Somewhere you'll see where it says Export PNG Image. So what you want to do, selection should be checked here. And what you want to do is come down to where it says File Name and go to Export As. So I'm going to put mine in my Downloads folder and I'm going to name it Sleepy Dwarf New. So I remember which one is the one I want to use and say Save. Now you might think you're done and you'll go to Cricut Design Space and you'll be so frustrated, I promise, because you're not done. There's another step you must do in Inkscape, and that is to actually export it. You told it what to export it as and you saved that info, but you have to actually export it for it to work. So there it is. So now you open Cricut Design Space and go to Upload, Upload an image, Browse, and we're going to look for Sleepy Dwarf New. Sleepy Dwarf New, there he is. So we're going to open him, click on him and open, and that's how it comes in. You see the little border around him? So I would just go to Complex and Continue. And I really don't think there's anything we need to get rid of, so I would continue. I'll save him as a print then cut. Okay, there he is. I'm just going to click on him and insert him. And so let's go use this button right here and zoom out a little bit. And you may be wondering, well, now there's no white offset around him. Where did that go? But it's there. If you come down here to blank canvas and click on it, and then come up here to change the canvas color, we'll just change it to black. You can see the white outline. Okay, I'm going to make this one, and let's see, is it too large for a print then cut? Let me look and, oh yeah, he's way too big for a print then cut. Now what I usually do though is I'll use a box and I'll slice it apart, and then I'll tape it back together so I can make really big, huge ones. But for this demo, I'm just going to make a tiny one. So I'm just going to make him maybe 5 inches. And the lock is locked, so I'll hit enter. So he's going to be a tiny little guy. And now you might be wondering too, well, how do I make the back of him? All right, and I'm going to duplicate him. And if I want one that's going to go on the back of him so that it can be on a table, all I need to do is go to flip horizontal. So it would be the opposite and it will work perfectly. Now I can go to make it. Okay, I'm going to go put this in my printer to print, and then I'll be right back. Okay, both sides of my little fellow came out of these little spaces on my mat. And I glued them together with my glue gun, and I put a popsicle stick in between because I thought this would be cute to use as a puppet. You know, if you have all the dwarfs and Snow White, you know, the kids could act out the story or something like that. Or you could do, Cinderella or Sleeping Beauty, anything. You could do anything. Be a cool way for a homeschooling parent or a teacher or a grandma or grandpa to make stuff just for fun to play with your kids. So let's go back up to Cricut Design Space, because I do need to show you what I was talking about before when I said sometimes you might need to change the size of your offset. And actually what we need to do really is to go back to Inkscape, and I'm going to edit, and no, I'll just make another one of him and show you the difference. So there he is. So I'm going to bring him in again. I'm going to go to File, Import, and this time I'm going to get the same guy, Sleepy Dwarf. There he is. Open. Leave this box alone. Okay. Gonna make him a lot smaller because he's way too big. I'll just make him, what did I do, 6 inches before? The lock is locked, 6 inches. And sometimes if you want to make your offset be smaller, you can change the size up here. Instead of it being 30 millimeters, you can change it to maybe 15 millimeters, right? And so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here and get a color that's not what he is. First I need to select him. Then I'm going to go to that fill bucket and get that color and then click on him. And now what I need to do, if you'll recall, I'll go to Object, lower to bottom, and I'm going to change its color to white. And then I'm going to come up here to Edit, select all, Object, Group. Oh, I don't want to group them with that one. Undo. I'm going to delete this one over here for now. Delete. And so now I'm going to come again to Edit, select all, Object, Group. All right. And now I'm going to export him as, and I'm going to come to my downloads. And the other one was Sleepy Dwarf New. Okay, so I'll name this one Sleepy Dwarf New 15. Save. All right, and so that's what it's going to be exported as, and I need to remember to export it. Okay, so now let's look and see what we see in Cricut Design Space. Here was one of them, and I'll just get rid of one of them so we can test. And I'll upload the second one, upload an image, browse, and Sleepy Dwarf New 15. Because I shrunk him by 15 millimeters. Complex, continue. Continue, and save. And let me upload him or insert him. And of course he comes in much larger, so we're going to make them about the same size. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the here and bring them out. And now you can see the difference between the two of them. You see how much white offset he has around him? That was 30 millimeters, and this one I had changed to 15 millimeters, so it has less offset. So let's look again at Inkscape, and the way that was done again was when I came to the paint bucket, I changed the grow shrink by number to 15. It was at 30 for the first one. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete him. And I have one more thing to show you. Okay, I want to show you what sometimes happens. And sometimes if you bring in an image like I've brought in Snow White, and I have these buttons all the way I've told you to save them, and I come down here to the paint bucket and click on it, and I get a color that's odd, it's not in my image, and I click. Notice this, there's this round circle right here that didn't get filled in. So if that ever happens to you, just hit the undo button, then all you have to do is move this threshold up some. So remember, it was at 17. Now I'm just willy-nilly going to try 31 and see what happens. Okay, that did not fix it yet. There's still that circle. So I'm going to undo, move the threshold up higher. Now I have it at 52. Let's see if that works. Oh yeah, 52 worked perfectly. So now what I would do is come up here to Object, lower to bottom, and I had the 30 millimeters on here, so it's a very wide outline. I can change the color of it, and I would change it to white. And I can still barely see that it's there. If I change it to white, I can't see it. So then again, what I would do now is come up here to Edit, select all, Object, Group, and then I would come over here to where it says Export PNG, or you can come to File, Export PNG Image, and that makes this stuff show up. I want it to be the selection of her, and I'm going to export it as Snow White Newest, because I'm not sure how many I've done. Newest. And say Save. Now I might think I'm done, but I know I'm not, because I've been stung by this many a time. If I don't go to export it, it's not going to work. And now I should be able to come over here to Cricut Design Space. And here's one of these little guys. I'll get rid of this one because Snow White's going to have the same size offset around her. I'll go to Upload, Upload an image, Browse, and I'll do Snow White Newest. Snow White Newest. There she is. Open. Perfect. Complex. Continue. She's big, but continue. And I'll save her as a print, then cut. Okay, there she is. I'll click on it to highlight it, insert her. Okay, now she's crazy big, so I'm going to make her smaller, maybe like 10 inches. And the lock is locked, so I'll hit enter. And let's zoom out a little bit so I can see. So there they are. Could make her a little smaller. All right, so there they are, and I could make her a puppet too to go with him. Now the thing is, now if I don't want to have it double-sided like I made him, as you had seen here, remember I made him double-sided with a stick. If you don't want to use that much of your ink, what you can do is this. Rather than making her double-sided with both sides being ink, just duplicate her. And I would come up here, a flip, horizontal. Okay, and now what I would do is come up here to cut. I would say no fill, and then come here and make it white. So all it will do is cut out a white piece, exactly what you need that will fit on the back of this. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe and hit the little bell. Also be sure to check out my affiliate links below, and if you're interested in helping to support my channel, please go to patreon.com/PattyAnn. For as little as $1 a month, you can join and get some challenges and have some fun. Thank you very much. I appreciate you all being here, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.